Welcome back to the Crown Academy Debate Podcast, where we take the world's biggest youth issues and occasionally twist them into something slightly chaotic. Last episode, we tackled immigration policy, light dinner conversation, right? Today, we're staying controversial, but we're going digital. Governments around the world are actively debating whether to ban or delay social media access for under 16s with mandatory age verification. Some countries have already implemented restrictions, others are drafting legislation. The science, messy, the politics, heated, the stakes, massive. But instead of asking whether we should ban teens from social media, we're asking something stranger. Today's motion: this House would require all students to create a fake social media identity as a mandatory school class. Yes, you heard that correctly. The idea: students create fictional online personas in a controlled environment to study identity, algorithm manipulation, cancel culture, misinformation, and digital harm. Is that brilliant education, or is it dystopian group therapy with Wi-Fi? Kai will be speaking for the government. Nova will be speaking for the opposition. Kai, take us into this alternate digital universe.
Okay, first of all, let's relax. We are not forcing people to become TikTok villains. What we are doing is acknowledging reality. Teens are already online. Social media isn't a side hobby. It's infrastructure for identity, friendship, activism, even mental health. If governments are debating bans because of harms, cyberbullying, algorithmic manipulation, cancel culture, then the real question becomes, are we preparing students for that world? This class would function like a digital ethics lab. Students create fictional personas, safe, anonymous, classroom contained, and experiment with how algorithms amplify certain behaviors, how outrage spreads faster than nuance, how social comparison affects mood, how canceling happens, who initiates it, how it escalates. You don't understand cancel culture by reading a definition. You understand it by watching how quickly a rumor spreads. Right now, teens learn social media through trial by fire. That's reckless. This class gives them a sandbox instead of a battlefield. And let's be honest, if governments are going to regulate platforms like alcohol or tobacco for minors, then digital literacy shouldn't be optional. It should be required.
I love how Kai says sandbox, like we're talking about Minecraft. This is more like institutionalized catfishing. Let's break this down. Schools, the one place that's supposed to build authenticity, character, and critical thinking, would require students to construct fake identities and simulate manipulation. That's not education, that's rehearsal. You don't teach kids about lying by forcing them to lie convincingly. You don't teach accountability by encouraging artificial outrage cycles. And here's the bigger issue. We are already living in a culture where mistakes follow people forever. Cancel culture. Yes, sometimes it exposes genuine harm, but it also shuts down dialogue, punishes growth, and permanently labels people. Now imagine formalizing that dynamic in a classroom. Students experiment with viral outrage as a graded assignment. Who gets targeted? Who gets misrepresented? Who gets emotionally affected? You're not preventing harm, you're simulating it. And psychologically, teens are not lab rats. We don't solve social media anxiety by recreating it.
All right, gloves off. Kai, Nova says this is basically how to become a professional internet troll 101.
That's dramatic. By that logic, mock trials teach kids to commit crimes. We simulate because simulation reveals systems. If students never see how misinformation spreads, they remain vulnerable to it.
But you're assuming students can emotionally detach from these simulations. We know from research that teens with anxiety or depression experience social comparison differently. So now you're asking vulnerable students to perform popularity contests for academic credit.
No, the class would be structured around reflection and analysis. It's not who gets the most followers. It's what tactics gained traction. Why did outrage spread? What ethical lines were crossed?
And what happens when someone crosses them too well? Are we grading their manipulation skills?
We're grading awareness. Look, governments are debating age verification because of harmful landscapes, harassment, exploitation, and algorithmic spirals. We can't ban our way out of this entirely. Education must be proactive.
Education should teach resilience and speech protection, not normalize surveillance-style identity construction. Also, how do we protect privacy? Are these fake accounts tracked, stored, monitored? The irony is wild. We criticize platforms for collecting data, And now schools create internal platforms to do the same.
Okay, I need oxygen. Let's zoom out. Is this ultimately about social media, or is this about how societies handle accountability and speech?
It's about accountability. Cancel culture exists because traditional systems fail. When institutions don't respond to harm, public outrage fills the vacuum. If students study that mechanism, they understand both its necessity and its danger. We teach them how mob dynamics form so they resist becoming part of one.
Or we risk normalizing mob logic. Cancel culture can expose injustice, yes, but it also punishes imperfection and shuts down growth. Free speech isn't just protection from government censorship. It's protection from cultural silencing. If students learn that viral outrage equals justice, we've failed them.
But ignoring digital power structures doesn't protect them either. Nearly all teens use social media. Many use it almost constantly. We can't pretend abstinence-only internet education works.
Then teach media literacy directly, analyze case studies, debate platform design, but don't make students perform synthetic identities. Authenticity matters.
All right, final thoughts. Kai?
Social media isn't going away. Governments are trying bans and age verification because harm is real. Instead of shielding teens entirely or throwing them into chaos, we build controlled environments to teach literacy, ethics, and accountability. Simulation doesn't corrupt. Ignorance does.
Nova?
You don't protect youth by rehearsing manipulation. We should teach digital resilience, not digital deception. Cancel culture may sometimes expose wrongdoing, but institutionalizing its mechanics risks teaching fear over dialogue. Freedom requires space for mistakes and growth.
And that's the tension. Protection versus preparation. Accountability versus freedom. Simulation versus authenticity. Governments are actively debating whether to ban social media for minors, but maybe the deeper question is, if we can't ban it, how do we teach it? And if we teach it, what are we willing to simulate? Kai, Nova, excellent round. Listeners, we want to hear from you.
Would you take this class, or would you drop it faster than a fake influencer sponsorship?
Until next time, think critically, speak boldly, and maybe double-check your privacy settings.